Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this is yet another office tour because when I filmed one before, I think things have changed actually twice since that video, so we're gonna do another one. I actually have some stuff coming either the day that I'm filming this or the day after that I'll explain once we start walking around a little bit in my little office. I really like how open the space is now. It's kind of like a U kind of format now, which I really like. And yeah, hopefully I don't end up changing it again because I really do genuinely like the way that it is now. I felt really squished the way that it was before. I like the way that it is now. I actually haven't had that much time to settle in with it because I was away for Christmas. Like the day that, I literally did this the morning that I left for Christmas with my family. So I haven't had a lot of time to really settle in and work in this space with the way that it is, but I really love how open it is. I love how bright it is in here. I love the twinkly lights, as you guys can see behind me. And I don't know, it definitely fits. Everything fits better this way, so I'm hoping that things end up staying this way and I don't wanting to change everything all over again. But anyways, without further ado, let's take a look around and everything. Okay, so I'm standing in my kitchen right now, just so you can see. I'm literally in the kitchen. So you walk through my kitchen, like my front door is behind me, and you walk through my kitchen into my office, so you can kind of see this from the front door. So I wanted it to be pretty. Just first pointers, yes, this kitchen cabinet. First point of there are things that still need to be done. This is going to be like a huge gallery wall. So it's a little empty right now just because this is the stuff that was here before when things were switched around the other way, but I'm going to paste up a lot more pictures on this wall going all the way up to where this black frame ends. So there's going to be a lot more on this wall. It's going to be a nice backdrop for filming the beginnings of videos and everything. It's just not like that yet because I ran out of time to film this. But just to start, we have my trusty cart. So this is a rolling cart from Target, I believe. I bought it for my bathroom my first freshman year of college, and I ended up using it in my office because I like it a lot. These little cups are from IKEA. They're like $1 or $2 a piece, which is really nice. I think I showed you guys on Instagram when I got some new ones. So the mint ones are new, and the white ones I've had for a little while now, but they just hold washi tapes and some of them, pens and some big scissors, my watercolor brushes, and my Prismacolor colored pencils. And then there's different stuff on here. So like these are my waters for watercolors, some random pens, sketchbooks, notebooks, and stickers. Underneath I have 2 of these things, also were previously used in a bathroom for organization. There's mostly just like extra stuff on this drawer, so there's like extra of these little towels that I like to use instead of paper towels. There's extra scrap paper, watercolor colored pencils, refills for other things, and then on the bottom, in this one, we have all of my tubed paints. So there's tubed gouache and watercolor in here, and then this is where the tripod, the little Joby tripod that I'm currently using, lives in there. So this cart has a little bit of a home in this corner. So there used to be like bags hanging on that back hook, but I just took them off and moved them somewhere else. And this cart now lives in this corner. But this is probably the biggest new addition besides, besides moving my desk and switching everything all over again. This is actually a standing desk converter. So there's a little handle right under here that you squeeze and you can pull up. It's not electric. You have to use your muscles to pull it up. But it's just a standing desk converter that I now have. my monitor's on, and it's so nice. I really love it. I was planning on doing like an up and down for this video. It's not really that exciting. I'm 5'11", and it gets up high enough for me to stand, which is really nice. But basically what I've done to make it workable for me, because I always have my mic and headphones and all of this stuff on my monitor, is I clipped this arm to my actual standing desk so that it all comes up and down together. All of the cords are sort of hidden behind here, which is nice. There's no more like crazy cordness that you have to look at when you're in my living room. And all this stuff is on here. So I have these are my glasses and eye drops, a couple of erasers, other like tools that I use really often, stapler, sticky notes. I don't always keep my tea on here. My AirPods are almost never here actually, but that kind of stuff. And then this bottom drawer just has my keyboard and mouse, and it has my little USB fan. So this is plugged into my computer. It's just a little USB fan because it likes to get nice and toasty in here because of all the light, all the windows and everything. And then over here, we have my little grid wall thing. You're supposed to hang this on the wall, but it's not perfectly flat anymore. I'm actually not entirely sure why it's not flat anymore, but it's not flat anymore, so it just leans up against the wall. And we have some of my art, some prints, some other people's art, my sunglasses, and my school schedule, which is actually wrong now because I switched one of my classes around. We have some pens in this cup, hanging on this cup. These are Zebra Sarasa pens, and I have extra staples in that cup that you can't really see. This is my like everyday pens cup. It has like my pilots. This is the Tombow I'm using for the current spread that I'm working on. Yeah, just kind of everyday things. And then these are all black fine liners. My phone lives on this stand, my Apple Watch is charging, and my calculator all kind of charge here. This is kind of like a charging port area. And then I have my Blick self-healing mat. I don't really pull that out for anything much anymore. It's just a nice thing to have to put like water, tea, other like wet things on, just because my desk obviously has some scratches on it. I did not buy this desk new when I got it, but it's been a while since I got it anyway. But when these little spots get wet, they bubble up like this spot did. So it's nice to have that mat there so things don't get worse with bubbling and warping. And then these are also a new purchase. So these drawers I got new on Amazon, and then these, like this little organizer I got from part of my, it's called a Buy Nothing group, like the Buy Nothing project. Somebody was giving away these, so I thought they would be a nice addition. This has my Tombow Twin Tones, mild liners, mild liner brushes, and then all of my Tombows are in this bottom one, sort of organized by color. So it organizes a lot of stuff. I also have my thin washi tapes in here just because I don't really use them that often. So I thought, hey, rainbow, at least it's kind of pretty. So I put those in there. And then up on top, I have my papering printer, which is a thermal printer. And then I have a lot of chapstick and lip balm stored in here, which I love. And then as we come over here, we have this little fairy jar. So the battery pack is kind of taped onto the back of this, and this turns on, but I can like move it around my desk, which is nice. But I also do have like a proper desk lamp, which is this guy, and it has like a warm and a cool setting. I think I had this the last time, but I honestly can't remember. I've definitely shown this on Instagram, but it's also a USB plug-in because I have no outlets in this house. So a lot of things depend on using USBs. And then we have one of my favorite rulers, this clear Westcott ruler, and then my bullet journal, my regular journal, and then this bottom notebook is just like a scrap notebook. So all in all, that is my main desk. This is where I sit and work. That is the most uncomfortable office chair on the planet, which is why I am very happy that I have a standing desk now. But yeah, you can kind of see underneath all of my cords plug into this one outlet, and most of the cord mess is like behind my monitor, so you can't really see it. So it looks a lot nicer than it did when my desk was sticking out against a bare wall. And then just underneath here, we have a little trash can that I have out of like a storage container. And then this is a file organizer that I have all of my shop stuff in. So there's tissue paper, there's product, there's envelopes. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff in there. But as we go around further, we see my lovely big window with my nice little view. And we have one of my plants here, washi tape, candle, a sensory jar, so it has beads and glitter in it, and when you shake it, it's just like a calming kind of activity. It's an ADHD thing. If you're curious about that, you can look it up, but it's just a nice like calming tool that I really like. This is another candle, cactus, candle, more washi tape, papers that I need to give to my parents that I've forgotten about. And then as we come over here, we have the console. Let me just move some of this stuff real quick so that it's out of the way. We have my camera, which sort of lives in this corner. It's just in the corner and kind of out of the way. That's its home base, I guess. That's one thing that I like about this office and my entire apartment, to be honest, is that everything kind of has a place where it goes. So it's nice to be able to say, hey, that's not where it belongs, and put it in the right place. But starting on the top of this console was my printer console. My printer was on top of this. It was a lot. I moved my printer, as you can tell, it's not here anymore. But I do still have a lot of stuff on this counter. So the first thing we have is this big metal organizer. It's really ugly, which is why it's kind of shoved into the corner, because I don't like it. But there are 5 sections on this organizer, and I have 5 classes this quarter. That's the maximum amount of classes that I will be taking for the rest of my college career, thank goodness. In the fall quarter, I took 6 classes, and yeah, I'm never doing that again. I didn't really have a choice because 2 of them were like classes I had to take as a first term student, but I never want to do that again voluntarily. Just some fake flowers here to kind of mask the ugly with the file cabinet. But I plan on kind of printing out my notes. I've kind of discussed this, and I'll probably go more in depth as to why I want to do that in a later video. But essentially I'm going to be making like study guides with my own notes from classes. So I want to be able to keep papers in here for each of those classes. I have the refills for my fountain pen ink stored here, whatever. This is a little bit of a workspace, so I can move that ruler to wherever, to be honest, and I have a little bit of space to work over here, which is nice because this is counter height. So it's literally the exact same height as my kitchen counter, so it's a nice, comfortable height to work at. We have another one of my plants. I have lots of plants. And then we have this over here. So this white console was my desk riser, monitor stand, whatever you call them. I moved it over here. I was originally just gonna get rid of it because it's a little bit sun damaged, but I thought that it ended up being kind of nice to have over here and to organize. So now we have more sticker notes. This is a corner rounder, some extra lens adapters for my camera, some Tombos that didn't fit in the organizer, to be honest. We have some, what are these called? Paper clips, yes. And then more chapstick in this little container back here. We have my silhouette portrait right here. Some things that need to be put away, to be honest. And then these are my laminating sheets for my laminator, which is right here, which really just pulls out, which is really nice and easy to pull out and use. It also tucks away. So those 2 things take up a lot less space on my desk now, or on the surface now, which is nice. And that's the whole top to this. So very like multifunctional kind of space. And then the bottom part hasn't changed at all since last time. So we have envelopes for packing, 6-hole punch scale, Bible study reading plan, scrap papers, and this is a folder that has a bunch of like swatch pages in it. Those books aren't going to stay there. My Frisker, whatever you say, Fiskars? My paper cutter is going to stay there. Those books are not, which I will explain in a second. We have spare printer paper that will last me for the rest of time. A bunch of books lined up. These need to be straightened out. I meant to do that before I started filming and forgot. More packing supplies, and then my Passion Planner and the keyboard and mouse that I use with my iPad Pro. So all that stuff has stayed the same. Those books aren't going to stay there because I'm getting a second rolling cart that is going to live right against here, which will be fine because it rolls and I can move it around. I think this is where it's gonna live. I haven't 100% decided yet, but for right now, that's the plan. So moving forward, the biggest thing that's changed is that my printer has moved. So printers are ugly. They're big and they're large and clunky. So you walk into the main space of my apartment and you can see I have my printer all set up. So this bin is actually nail polish and my records are stored in that blue bin under there. But this is paper, it's loaded up with paper. Paper is stored all over in this apartment. But yeah, my printer kind of has its own dedicated space now. And this opening between my office and the rest of my apartment, basically, I've always had these curtains here. Not always, but recently I've had these curtains here. So this opening is actually a lot larger than it used to be. So my cart can roll through here and I can get into the living room super easily. I can even wheel my chair in here if I need to sit here and print something if I'm being super lazy. But when I have classes or anything like that, I can close this curtain and then, oops, sorry. It just ran backwards into my chair. But I can close this curtain and it looks a lot better on a Zoom camera. It doesn't look as obvious that my bedroom is through there. But it just kind of blocks off the space and it makes it look like a nice clean background. But for the most part, honestly, this stays pretty open. I just like the way that these curtains look, really. They're just gray to white ombre curtains off of Amazon, super cheap. But yeah, I just really liked the way that they look. And my lamp has kind of always been kind of shoved into this corner, but when you do turn it on, it does shine enough light over here that I can work at night when it gets dark in here. And then last but not least, so now we are facing my kitchen. Hi. My refrigerator says hi, my toaster says hi, and we still have this built-in bookshelf. This is one thing that has not changed at all. I really, really love this built-in. And I never want to leave this apartment because where the heck am I going to store all this stuff if I move? But it has a bunch of shelves in here that has a bunch of different stuff, but mostly office stuff. So we have my 2 sets of Ohuhu markers, one's chisel and one is brush. We have my master markers, which I'm debating getting rid of, but they're still here for right now. This bowl kind of has random stuff in it, to be honest. I don't know, it's random extra stuff. There are balloons in there. And I vaguely remember why I had balloons, but I don't entirely remember, so that's really fun. And then this next shelf down, we have spare scrapbook paper, a pencil case that I don't use that needs to be moved from where it is, extra campus notebooks that I'd written on the covers of, but didn't end up using the insides of, lots of watercolor supplies, paper paints, palettes, that kind of thing. I actually have a really big watercolor sketchbook back there. And then we have my organizer for my backpack, and my filing folder system is behind there for if I ever get back to campus. A bunch of extra rulers, more watercolors, and then this is spare pens in this Lululemon bag. And then under here we have Apple boxes, the box for my glasses, different pencil cases. This has a bunch of binder clips in it, and then random kind of papers that need to be stored. So this bookcase really does hold a lot of things. For the most part, I don't go into it very often though, so a lot of its job is to just sit here and be pretty, because I think it's really nice to look at with all of the artsy stuff in here. It looks very elegant. But yeah, now we are turned around and back to my computer, which has now decided to tell us the time. But yeah, that's my office, and I'm really hoping to keep it this way and not move all of my furniture by myself again. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!